This is not just another courtroom sentencing. This is a case that shook an entire community to its core. Two men, a calculated plan, and a cold-blooded execution carried out in front of innocent children. What started as a conspiracy quickly turned into a horrifying reality, captured piece by piece through surveillance, text messages, and relentless police work. But here's the real question. How does a judge weigh justice in a case where the damage is truly irreversible? And as we dive into this sentencing, pay close attention, because what unfolds here isn't just about punishment. It's about accountability, remorse, or the shocking lack of it.
This jury of our community on August 27th found each of you guilty, found you, Mr. Beasley, guilty of aggravated murder, conspiracy to commit murder, felonious assaults on the victim, the two daughters, and the driver, the Uber driver, all with gun specifications. And we talked about the merger of those offenses. And before I proceed with the sentencing, I always like to start with what is the purpose and principles of sentencing. And that is, the purpose and principles of sentence is that I must comply with Revised Code 2929.11a. And that is to punish the offender, protect the public from future crimes by you and others, using the minimum sanctions that this court determines that accomplishes the purpose without imposing an unnecessary burden on state or local government resources. I always have to consider the need for incapacitation, deterrence, rehabilitation, and restitution. The sentence I impose should be commensurate with and not demeaning to the seriousness of your conduct, its impact on the victim.
Right here, the judge is laying down one of the most critical foundations of sentencing: proportionality and fairness. Notice how he emphasizes that the punishment must match the seriousness of the crime while remaining consistent with similar cases. This isn't just procedural language. It's the backbone of the justice system. But let's pause for a second. Given what we already know about this case, do you think any sentence could ever truly match the severity of what happened? And more importantly, is justice about punishment alone, or also about sending a message to society?
Victims, and consistent with sentences for similar crimes by similar offenders. I'm not sentencing you gentlemen based on your race, your ethnicity, your gender, or your religion. Do you understand that, Mr. Beasley?
Yes.
Do you understand that, Mr. Skanes?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Gentlemen, these crimes, these are horrible crimes in and of themselves. And the details of the crimes that you committed are even worse. We've seen a week-long trial of both of you stalking Allison Appling France for days. Hunting her. And thank goodness for the great work of the Cleveland Police Department and their homicide unit, because they showed us this hunting. Their crime strategy unit, the videos, the cameras in this community showed both of you out there stalking this victim. And what's sad is on January 5th, you tried, it didn't get done. The messages and the text messages and the evidence that came into this trial showed that you were hired to kill this lady. This community and this jury and this court watched the actions that both of you took on January 10th as Miss Allison Applin France and her two children went shopping at Target. And when they returned home, watching as you, Mr. Beasley, got out of that van and you, Mr. Skanes, sitting in that truck as you brutally executed her in front of her children. It was cold. It was calculated murder, completely devoid of any humanity. Even now,
This is where the tone shifts from legal explanation to raw emotional weight. The judge isn't just listing facts anymore. He's calling out something deeply disturbing: the complete absence of remorse. In many cases, even a small sign of regret can influence sentencing. But here, nothing. And that silence speaks volumes. Think about it. How does a court interpret someone who shows no empathy after such a brutal act? Does it make the crime even more severe in the eyes of justice? Let me know what you think. Does remorse actually matter when the crime is this horrific?
neither of you have shown one bit of remorse to anyone here. You were given a chance to participate in a pre-sentence investigation to help explain how you both, having been raised in good neighborhood with good schools and good families, became so dead inside that you could gun down a young mother in front of her small children for some money. Think about it. You sold your lives for that bit of money you got to kill a young mother. You value your own lives as little as you valued Miss Applin France's life. True justice in this case is beyond the reach of this court. But this court values lives, especially the lives of little children you terrorized and scarred when they had to witness their own mother getting gunned down inches away from them.
This moment hits differently. The judge brings the focus back to the victims, not just the life lost, but the lives permanently scarred. Those children witnessed something no one should ever see. And legally, this plays a massive role. Courts don't just consider the act itself. They consider the ripple effects: trauma, fear, lifelong psychological damage. So when the judge talks about ensuring these men are never free again, it's not just punishment, it's protection. But here's a tough question. Should the justice system prioritize rehabilitation in cases like this, or is permanent removal from society the only answer?
These little girls cannot live in fear that someday you're free in this world. So based on that, based on the evidence this court has heard, Mr. Beasley, for the record, the state has merged counts 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 12 with count 1. And count 1 is aggravated murder. The potential sentence I'm looking at, your potential sentence is life with the possibility of parole after 20, 25, 30, or life without parole. As for the gun specifications, I'm going to sentence you 3 years on the first firearm specification and 6 years on the firearm specification.
Now we're getting into the structure of the sentence, and this is where things can get complex. The judge is stacking firearm specifications on top of the life sentence. These additional years aren't optional. They're mandatory enhancements because a weapon was involved. So even before considering parole, or the lack of it, there's already significant time being added. This is how the system ensures that crimes involving firearms carry heavier consequences. But here's something to think about. Do these added years actually deter crime, or are they more about reinforcing the seriousness after the fact?
So that's 9 years on that firearm specification to a sentence of life without parole. As for count number 9, felonious assault, I'm going to sentence you to 8 years. And that is a Reagan-Tokes sentence because it's an indefinite prison sentence with a prison term of 4 years. That's half the prison term for the max of 12 years. For the total state of prison term on that count, 11 to 15 years, and there's a 3-year gun specification that's a count on that count. So that would be a total prison sentence on that count for 11 to 15 years. As for count number 10, the felonious assault, I'm going to also sentence you to 8 years with a 4 years, half the prison term, indefinite prison term of 4 years. So that is a total net term of 12 years on count number 10. Count number 11, I'm going to sentence you again to 8 years with a 4-year indefinite prison term of half of that prison term for a maximum of 12 years. Again, that total time for that would be 8 to 12 years on that count. On count number 13, having weapon while under disability, that's a felony of the 3rd degree. I'm going to sentence you to 36 months, and I'm going to run that concurrent to count 1. Count number 9, 10, and 11 will be served consecutive to the aggravated murder.
This section might sound confusing, but it's crucial. The judge is clarifying how sentences run, concurrent versus consecutive. In simple terms, consecutive sentences mean the time stacks up, making the total punishment much longer. And in this case, that's exactly what's happening. The court is ensuring that each part of the crime is accounted for separately. But here's where it gets interesting. Even with all these added years, the headline remains the same: life without parole. So ask yourself, are these additional sentences symbolic, or do they serve a deeper legal purpose?
Which is, again, life without parole after, well, it's 9 years with parole eligibility, with life without parole. I think I said that correctly. Mr. Filiacho, is that accurate?
It is, Judge, with regard to count 1, and then there will be one other 3-year firearm specification, I believe, on count 9.
Count number 9, correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Richardson, I have to ask, does Mr. Beasley have the money or means at this time to hire a lawyer or have a lawyer for appeal on this case?
No, he does not, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Beasley, do you have the money to hire anyone in regards to help you on this appeal? All right. The court will appoint the public defender to represent you on this matter, and this matter will a transcript will be ordered at state's expense. I'll give you credit for any time served on this matter, and wish you luck in your future. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thanks. All right. You could take him out. Mr. Skanes, in regard to your case, I have to make a statement here that you're just as guilty as the shooter. You were in that car. You're the guy, the bank driver, the guy who's sitting in the car as the guy goes into the bank and robs the bank. You're just as guilty as the guy who was robbing the bank. You were complicit in this murder, and this court found you guilty of those offenses. I found that you acted in concurrence with Mr. Beasley, and the fact that you stood here and tried to act like you had no idea what was going on is disgusting to the...
This is a powerful legal moment. The judge is making it absolutely clear that being the driver, the accomplice, does not lessen guilt. In fact, under the law, participation in a crime like this makes you equally responsible. This is known as complicity, and it's a critical concept. You don't have to pull the trigger to be held accountable for murder. And the judge isn't holding back here. He's directly calling out the attempt to deny involvement. So what do you think? Should accomplices always face the same punishment as the person who carried out the act?
This court, because you knew, you were there. It was clear as day what was going on in that van. And thank God for video cameras, because the video cameras of the trucking company showed you sitting in that van, sitting there with Mr. Beasley, sitting in that gas station talking with Mr. Beasley, pumping gas for that car or that truck. And then after that horrific murder, not saying a word. You're just as guilty as far as this court's concerned. So in that regard, Mr. Skanes, I'm going to impose the same sentence. On count 1, I'm going to sentence you to life without parole with a 3 and a 6-year 9 gun specification. As for count number 9, I'm going to sentence you a sentence of 8 years with an indefinite prison sentence of 4 years, half the prison term, for a maximum sentence of 12. That total prison sentence will be 11 to 15 years. Count 10, felonious assault, I'm going to sentence you to 8 to 12 years. And count 11, I'm going to sentence you again to 8 to 12 years. I'm going to run counts 9, 10, 11 consecutive to count 1. And I'm going to ask Mr. Skanes, do you have the money or means, or Mr. Dubiak, does he have the money or means to hire a lawyer at this time?
As it stands now, the answer is no, Your Honor. However, that could change.
All right. So I'm going to assign a counsel to represent you. Mr. Skanes, do you have the money or means to hire anyone?
No.
All right. I'm going to I'll appoint a lawyer and order the transcript at state's expense. I'm going to ask Mr. Filiaccio or Mr. Dubiak, is there anything else that I need to address at this time? I'll give you credit for time served also. All right.
This case is a chilling reminder of how calculated violence can leave permanent scars, not just on victims, but on entire communities. The court has delivered its verdict with one clear message. Crimes of this magnitude will be met with the harshest consequences available under the law. Life without parole ensures that these individuals will never walk free again, reflecting both punishment and protection. But beyond the legal outcome, this case raises deeper questions about morality, accountability, and the limits of justice itself. If you found this case as shocking as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns.